Cool, right. So hopefully everyone can see my screen now. Let me just... So we're going to go through the game mechanics guide today. But before we do that, we'll just announce some news that we've got coming this week and talk about what we've done in the past week. So we've got our token staking live at the moment, which means if you're staking 20 trillion tokens or more, you're going to earn packs per week. And eventually, once we do the pack reveal, everyone will be able to open the free packs that they've got. And upcoming this week, we are launching our avatar NFTs. So these are randomly generated wolf avatars that have been custom made by our designers. Obviously, as they're randomly generated, each one's going to be a little different. So there's different eyes, accessories, backgrounds, and we're going to launch with 10K of these, and everyone is able to mint as many as they want. To start with, owning them is just going to be for vanity, but eventually, once we have the game up and running, the avatar is what we will use as your in-game avatar. So as we go through the game mechanics, you'll see a little section in there, and that's where your avatar will display. And then, obviously, once we've got our marketplace up and running for trading, you'll be able to buy, sell, and trade your avatars on there as well. But let's do the game mechanics guide. So as an introduction, if anyone's never seen or never played a TCG before, it's basically like Pokemon. If anyone remembers, I'm sure most people do, the original Pokemon cards. As well as collecting those and trading with your friends, there is actually a game that you're meant to play with them. You play against one other opponent where you're laying them down on the board in front of you. And as a team, we worked really hard to create a good version of a card game that's going to allow for advanced strategies to be thought of and implemented within the game itself. Myself and many others on the team have played lots of online TCGs in the past, and so we've really worked hard to make something that people are going to be able to come up with strategies and different ways of winning or defeating their opponents. That was something quite important to us. We didn't just want to put out any old game that isn't worth playing. We want to make something that people want to come back and play over and over again, get better at it, get better cards, and just enjoy the whole experience. So we'll go through the introduction. Each page is going to give a little bit more information. So if something doesn't make sense, each section is fully explained. And then once we get to the end, everyone should have a really good understanding of how the game is going to work. So you and your opponent will start with 40 health points and draw 3 cards each. You'll be able to see your own 3 cards, but obviously not your opponent's. Then a coin is tossed to decide which player is going to go first. Whoever goes second, so whoever wins or whoever loses the coin tossed, is going to draw an extra card. So if you're going first, you'll start with 3 cards. If you're going second, you're going to start with 4 cards. You hold the cards in your hand, selecting which to play according to how much energy you have. We'll cover the energy a little bit on the further pages. That will make more sense later on. Also, when you pick your 3 cards at the start, if you're not happy with them, or if you're not happy with 1, 2, or 3 of them, you can select which ones you don't want and send them back into your hand, and you'll get 1, 2, or 3 other cards, depending how many you've selected. Cards can be placed onto the board in any order. The board can hold a maximum of 7 cards at once. Each card has an attack and a health score, and some cards might have an element or an ability too. And as said before, we'll get into what that means later on in the presentation. At the end of your turn, you'll click End Turn or Attack. The cards will attack left to right. So that means the order that your cards are on the board, your left card will attack first, and it's going to attack an enemy card. The attacks are chosen at random. So your leftmost card will attack first, but the card that it attacks is going to be random unless there's a tanking card, which, we will get into later. If there's no cards left, you will be attacking the hero, and the hero's health will be reduced Once the hero's health reduces to 0, that means you've won. Let me just sort this out. Give me 2 seconds.
Hello. Can I ask a question?
We're going to save questions till the end. We're just going to go through the presentation first. But yeah, save your questions. We'll go through all of those at the end. Don't worry. Right, let me just share my screen again. Okay, so your hand. You will draw a card from the deck at the start of each turn. Cards with a glowing border, once they're in your hand, indicate that they can be played. So this means they're the cards that are active, means you've got enough energy, which will allow you to play those cards. And we'll cover energy a little bit further on. But yeah, the cards that are in your hand, you'll be able to see all of them at once. And the ones that are able to be played will have a glowing border around them, so it'll make it nice and easy. The maximum cards you can have is 10. So if you've already got 10 in your hand, say you didn't play enough last turn and you're trying to draw more cards, the cards that you're drawing are going to be burnt. So you want to make sure you're not getting more than 10 cards in your hand at once. Your hero. And this is where the avatars are going to be coming into play. So the avatar NFTs that we talked about earlier, this is where they're going to be displayed in game. And next to the avatar, you see where there's a 40. This is where you're going to be able to see how much health your hero has got, and we'll be able to see the enemy's avatar and how much health they've got remaining. Your energy. So we talked about this a little bit. Each card on the top left of it will have a little number. This number is the energy score of that card. It basically means it's going to cost whatever number is in it, it's going to cost that much energy to play that card. So let's say you've got a more basic card, something you're going to want to play early in the game. It might have a 2 or a 3 on it, and that means it's going to cost 2 or 3 energy to play. On the game board, you'll see how much energy it'll be. There'll be little circles that will be full. If they're full, that means you've got that many energy. So at the start of the game, you'll start with 3 energy points, and then every subsequent turn, you'll get 1 more. The energy resets, and you'll get 1 more. So on your first turn, you have 3 energy, and on your second turn, you have 4 energy. Obviously, let's say on your second turn, you've got 4, and you spend 3 of them. On your next turn, you'll then start with 5, and all 5 will be available. So each turn, your energy's resetting until we get to 10. Once you've got the maximum of 10 energy, it doesn't go any higher than that, but obviously each turn your energy resets. So every time it comes back to you, you've got the maximum energy available for you to play with. Your beasts. Now this is your this is your actual cards that are going to be played and going to be doing your attacking. You can place your beasts in any order that you wish. But once played, they cannot be moved on the board. When cards are played, they will take 1 turn to become active. So this means that once you've played a card, it's in a dormant mode. It's not going to attack straight away. And then when the turn comes back to you and you're attacking on your second turn, that's when the cards are going to become active. Your board can hold a maximum of 7 beasts. So if you've got 7 cards down on the board, there isn't going to be space for you to play anymore. So you're going to have to wait until one of them is killed and goes to the graveyard, and then you'll be able to play another beast. So because of that, it kind of like limits how many cards can be played on the board. So you've got to really like come up with a clever strategy about which cards you want to put down, because you don't want to fill up your board and not be able to play a card that you have been holding on to. On your beast, on each card, you'll see an attack score and a health score. Left and the health score right. So the attack score is how much damage that card is going to do to an enemy card or the enemy hero, and the health score is obviously the HP of the card. And as your card or attack is going to be attacking their HP. So let's say, as you can see on this card, it's got an attack of 2 and a health of 4. If the opponent's card is the same one, so attack of 2, health of 4, you're going to do 2 damage to their health. But when you're attacking, you're also going to receive damage as well. So if the opponent's card is a 2 and a 4, you're also going to receive 2 damage to your HP as you do the attack. Once you click attack, we've said that we've covered this a little bit, but your cards will attack left to right. So your leftmost card will go first, and it's going to attack a random enemy card or the hero if they've got no cards left. Your deck. So this is what is available to mint at the moment on our website. You can go and mint your card packs, and then once we do the reveal, you'll be able to start building your different decks, and you'll be able to build different types of decks and name them what you want. So if you've got a deck in mind where it's a more of a rush deck, something where you're trying to get as much damage out as early on in the game as you can, you're going to put something together that's maybe got much more of a low energy score. So the majority of your cards are going to have a low energy, more cards early, and you're going to be looking to have a low energy but high attack. Obviously, any strategy you use is going to have benefits and trade-offs. So we're kind of really excited to see what kind of meta people come up with in terms of which decks are strongest, which decks can be countered. And we just want to see how people are going to build decks in ways that we've not even thought of. As I said, a lot of us have played TCGs, and we've talked about different decks that could be built and different ways that you could kind of combine different skills of the cards to come up with different strategies. But it would be really interesting once it's in your guys' hands to see kind of the different strategies that you come up with. Obviously, each turn you draw 1 card from the deck, and this comes into your hand. Once you've got no cards left in your deck, let's say you run out of all 30 cards, you've got nothing left to draw from, your hero is going to start taking damage. Otherwise, we're going to kind of get to a stalemate. So on the first turn that you're trying to draw a card and there's no cards left in the deck, you'll take 1 damage. On the second attempt that you try to draw from a deck where there's nothing, you'll take 2 damage. Third turn, 3 damage. This is to just make the games not draw out if we're kind of getting to a stalemate point. But if you've got your strategy right, it shouldn't really get to this point. You're going to want to have defeated your enemy before you run out of cards. The starting hand. So when the match begins, a coin will be tossed to decide who's going first. We did cover this a little bit in the introduction. We'll just go through it in a little bit more detail now. So whoever wins the coin toss, whoever's going first, is going to draw 3 cards, and we'll be able to preview them. Obviously, only they can see them. The opponent can't see you, can't see your cards, and you can't see the opponent's cards. You will then have the option to swap any of the cards that you've drawn for another random card from your deck. So you'll choose which ones you do or don't want. The ones you don't want will go back to your deck, and new cards will be drawn for you. Whoever's second, so whoever's lost the coin toss, is going to draw 4 cards, and they'll have the same option. Whichever cards they do or don't want, they're going to select, send the ones they don't want back to their deck, and then they'll get new random cards, and then that will be your starting hand. At the start of each turn, you'll draw 1 more card into your hand. We've covered that. We've covered that a little bit, but there is some cards, as we'll cover later on. Some cards are going to have abilities that will allow you to draw more cards. So we will touch on this later on, but some cards will have abilities like when played, draw 2 cards, or when killed, draw 3 cards, or when killed, draw 3 cards and pick one of them to put in your hand. So there's going to be a lot of different strategies that are going to enable you to draw more cards and try and build up a stronger hand as quickly as possible to help your strategy. Playing a card. To play a card, you'll select a card that's glowing. So if it's glowing, you're going to know it can be played. And this is because you've got enough energy to actually play that card. So you select a card that's glowing and choose where to play it on the board. So you're going to choose which position to play it. Obviously, it's a maximum of 7 cards. So there's 7 different positions it could be in. Now, if you've never played the TCG, you might be wondering, like, why would you want to choose different positions on the board? Because the cards, once it's your turn to attack, because the cards will attack left to right, you might want to create different strategies or different synergies of cards in the order that they attack. Now, obviously, every deck you build is going to be different. If you're doing a rush deck or more of a tank deck, a healing deck, obviously there's many different ones, as we'll get into later. But the order of your cards is going to become very important to create a much more in-depth and comprehensive meta to the game, which is really going to help it not just be a boring kind of a game where it doesn't matter what you do, like the stronger person will win. We want it to be more of a, yes, strong cards are better, but if you've got a good strategy and know how to defeat a certain deck, you're going to be able to take them down with not necessarily stronger cards than them, but a better strategy. Ending your turn. So once you're satisfied with all the cards you've played, you'll be able to end your turn, and this will initiate your attacks. Obviously, if it's the first turn of the game or your first turn of the game, whether you're first or second, your cards aren't going to attack because the cards you've played will be dormant for the first round. Then when it comes back to you, you won't be ending your turn, you'll be clicking attack, so you'll initiate your attacks on the opponents. If you're inactive for 1 minute 30, there's going to be a timer that will be going across the screen, which will automatically end your turn for you. This is, just to stop getting in a stalemate, or if someone goes AFK or their computer crashes, we don't want the opponent just to be stuck in the game and at a point where like you can't do anything because the person's gone. Attacking enemies. So we've covered this a little bit, but we'll go through it in more depth now. So at the end of your turn, once your cards are able to attack, your beast will attack automatically left to right. So we've covered this already. And the beast attack is random, unless there is a tank card. So this is something we've not touched on yet. As I've said, all of the cards will have different abilities. One of those abilities is a card, could be a tank card. And what that means is, if something is a tank card, that card needs to be attacked before the other cards on the board will be attacked. So if you're attacking and your opponent has 1 tank card, all your attacks are going to go straight to the tank until it's killed before it will randomly attack the other cards. And yeah, we've touched on this when we talked about the cards before. But when a beast is attacking, damage is dealt as well as received, meaning your attack is damaging the energy. The enemy beast's HP, and the enemy's attack is going to damage your own beast's HP. The graveyard. Once the card has been killed, it's going to be returned to the relevant player's graveyard. So this is like, once the card is dead, it's going to go into a separate pile on the other side of the board, and your cards will remain there unless you've got a spell in your deck that's going to be able to resurrect a card. Now, some of these spell cards are going to be looking for something specific. So some will be more targeted towards resurrecting a specific set of cards, and some of them will be resurrecting either a random card, or will pull 3 random cards and you'll get to choose one of them which you'll want to resurrect. So depending what spells you've got is going to depend which cards you're going to be able to resurrect. The card types. Obviously, we've touched on beasts quite a lot. This is your main type of card. That's what you're going to be using for attacking the enemy's beasts and attacking the enemy's health points. We've not touched on the element cards yet, so we'll go through that now, make sure everyone fully understands. And we've touched on the spell cards just a little bit. So the element cards on the left of the screen. So later on, we'll look at a screenshot of the board so everyone can see what I'm referring to here. On the left of the screen, you're going to have 4 sockets, and the 4 sockets are for the 4 different element types that we've got. And to activate these, you're going to need an element card. Once you play an element card on the board, the relevant socket is going to become active. So let's say you've got a fire card. Once you play your first fire card, the fire socket is going to have one fire element in it. So the first fire card that you play is going to cost you 1 energy, and that will put one fire in your fire socket. The second fire card, so once you want to load 2 fire into the fire socket, the second one is going to cost you 2 energy. Why this is important will become a little bit more apparent later on as we delve a little bit more into the abilities of the cards. But basically, different cards will have different elemental abilities. So if you've got a fire card that's got a fire ability, it's going to need fire in the fire socket. I keep saying fire, but it's going to need the fire socket to be active to enable that ability. So it might have something like, if you've got a fire wolf card.
Bye. No sales right now, but bye.
If you
lit, bro. Can't believe they can't.
Yeah, thanks for the mods for jumping on that for me. All right, let me pick up where I left off. So yeah, if you've got a fire wolf card, it's going to have obviously it's normal attack and normal defense. So it might have 4 attack and 6 defense, but it could also have a fire ability. So as well as its normal 4 damage, it could have an ability where when it attacks an enemy beast, it's also going to burn the neighboring enemy beasts. So whichever one it attacks, if it's got 4 attack, it's going to do 4 damage to the enemy beast that it hits, but it might do 2 damage to the 2 cards adjacent to the attack, to the card that you have attacked. Or different fire cards are going to have different levels of elemental abilities. So if it's got, if the elemental ability only costs 1 fire to activate, it's going to be a weaker attack than an elemental ability that costs 3, 4, or 5 of that element to activate. So obviously, as you manage to stack up more elements in your sockets, you're going to unlock more powerful abilities from your cards, enabling you to do more damage and build up a stronger hand on the board. Yeah, and we've got spells. So we've touched on them. There is a lot of different types of spells. There's going to be cards that will do damage to enemy cards, do damage to enemy hero, heal cards on your board, heal your own hero, resurrect cards from the graveyard, add damage points to your card, add health points to your card, add tank ability to cards that are already on the board, add shields to cards that are already on the board. But there's going to be a lot of different spell cards that are going to allow for quite a lot of different strategies to come into play. The card abilities. So there's, well, 3 different kind of main types of card abilities that are going to allow your cards to do something. So there's the battle cries that will do something when the card is played. So it might say, the battle cry is, when this card is played, draw 2 more cards. So it's going to be activated as you play the card, and it will be a one-time thing. It will just be activated as it's played, and then the card will just function as normal. And the same as spells, there's going to be loads of different battle cries that will come into play. So there could be ones that are draw 1 card when played, draw 2 cards when played, deal damage or deal 1 damage to 3 random enemy beasts, deal 2 damage to the enemy hero, heal a random card on your side of the playfield, or heal a random card on your side of the playfield with 2 HP, heal your own hero by 3 HP. And there's going to be a lot of different battle cries available. And death rattles are another type of ability that can be on the card. This is similar to the battle cry, but instead of activating when the card is played, this will be activated when the card is killed. So this could have been like, when the card is killed, deal 2 damage to the card that killed it, or deal 3 damage to the enemy hero, or heal one of your cards by 5 HP. and an effect. So we have touched on these a little bit earlier. These are persistent abilities, like the tank ability, which, as we said, this card needs to be attacked and killed before the other cards on the battlefield will be attacked. Or it could have a shield, and this just means the card has a shield on it, which will absorb any damage just once, and then the shield is broken. So if a card has a shield on it and you play it, it can take any hit, it can take any amount of damage for one turn, and the card will not take any damage to its HP or be killed. Cool, and we are at the end of the presentation. So thanks for sticking around for that. I myself, as a massive TCG fan, have been really excited to share this with you all. The team's worked really hard trying to come up with the best version of the game that we can deliver to you guys. Obviously, right now, we have worked really hard on creating the best game plan we can, but it is the alpha version. So as we're going through the development process, if things need to be improved, if we think something can be done better, everything is subject to change. But where it is right now, the whole team is pretty happy with it. So I would imagine what we've just gone through is a pretty accurate representation of what the game is going to look like. And I'll just go back to the first page because there is a view of the entire game board, so we can see a little bit of the things I touched on. So yeah, this is what the game board will look like while you're playing. Obviously, your hand is down here at the bottom, tilted towards you, and the cards in front of that are the cards on your board, and then you can see your opponent's cards that are on the board and where your opponent's hand is, but obviously you can't see your opponent's cards. On the right, obviously you can see your own deck and the opponent's deck. If you hover over these, you'll be able to see how many cards you've got left. So if you've got 25 left, you hover over it, it will say 25. And same for the enemy. You've got your two avatars. So these will be your NFTs that you've minted, the randomly generated ones that we talked about earlier. But this is where you'll be able to display your avatar NFTs, and you'll be able to swap them out. If you've got other ones, you'll be able to pick your favorite one and have them there. Obviously, the number next to this is the hero health that we've talked about. So as that's getting lower and lower, your hero is getting closer to dying, or if the enemy HP is getting lower, you're getting closer and closer to winning. This section on the left, and you can see the enemies here, this is your energy. So right now, this player's got 5 energy, so they could play a card with up to 5 energy score, or they could play a card with 2 energy and a 3 energy, or they could play one with just a 2 energy and not spend the whole thing, but that's going to refresh next round. So the round after this, they would start with 6 energy. And you can see the energy sockets that we talked about before. So we've got the lightning, water, fire, and earth. And as you play the elemental cards, these are going to be added to the sockets. So on this board, you can see they've got no thunder or no lightning and no fire, but they've got 1 water and 1 earth. So it's going to, or this player is able to use any water ability that costs, that needs 1 water socket, or any earth ability that's going to need 5 earth elements in the socket. And as you use the abilities, or as the abilities become active, these aren't spent. These will stay in your sockets for the whole game, unless someone uses a spell card that's going to affect that. So there could be spell cards that will be take away 1 fire elemental from the enemy's fire socket. Cool. So what we'll do now, we'll open it up. If anyone's got any questions, now's your chance to jump on, and I'll be happy to answer them.
My first question is, thank you so much for developing another card game I could be addicted to. Thank you so much to the whole dev team, the mods, and the community is just super awesome, man. I'm super excited for this, man. Cannot wait. Thank you again. And
oh man, thank you.
Thank you.
That's great to hear. Like, the original idea was to create something that we were happy with, something that we wanted to play. So getting feedback from people that they're interested, they want to play as well. That's something we really like to hear.
Thank you so much, man. I cannot wait. This is awesome. Thank you.
Thank you. Cool. As if anyone else has got a question, now is your chance to jump on.
Hey, I have a question. So, are you guys planning on making this into like a phone app, or is this solely on the computer? That's my question.
So at launch, it is going to be browser-based. Obviously, you're going to need to connect to it with your through Web3 using the MetaMask wallet. Having it as a browser game, this is something we could do using the MetaMask browser, but just the nature of the game, being able to read things on the cards, it's going to be quite important that your screen size is big enough so everything is legible. But this is something we have in the pipeline. Once the game is released, we'd want to release the game on a mobile platform, have the ability to connect or add your wallet to it, so you'd be able to download it and play it on a mobile device. But yeah, the game at launch will be like a browser-based game.
Will you have cinematics for special moves?
Cinematics for special moves. That is something I'll have to pass on to the development team. I imagine this is something we're going to work on down the line and release as like an update to the game. But it would be really cool to have 3D cinematics. I remember the old the Yu-Gi-Oh games on PS1. You could have like that 3D animation of the cards attacking. But yeah, that is something. Go ahead.
Yeah, no, I think that would be like obviously in the initial launch, but I think in the future that would be a great update. I think that would be really cool.
Yeah, that would be really cool. I'll make sure that gets passed on to the development team. I'm sure they'll have some like really cool ideas about how we can implement that. Thanks for the suggestion.
Hi, I've got a quick question. From someone who's never played trading card games ever, but heard of them, is there going to be like some video or tutorial or something to get new players in who've never played it so they can understand how to play it before they use their cards or buy cards?
Yeah, so thanks for your question. So this is something we are going to be releasing very soon. So the game mechanics PDF that I just went through, after the MA, that's going to be posted on the website, but then later on next week, we'll release a full page on the website that's more of a tutorial. So instead of just reading the mechanics and like learning the basic rules of the game, there'll be a standalone page on the website that as you scroll down, it's going to teach you to play the game. So it's going to start off by just showing you, this is a card. On the left, this is your health. On the right, on the left is your attack. On the right is your health. And then as you scroll down the page, it's going to have different videos, which are going to be just short explainers, maybe 1 minute long, as well as images, just teaching you little bits of the mechanics at a time. So someone that has never played could go to that website or go to that page on the website, and as they scroll down the page, they're going to be taught how the game works, how to play it, and by the time you get to the bottom of the page, you're going to be ready to play. You're going to have learned everything you need to know to jump in and play a full game. Because I've played lots of TCGs in the past, and sometimes they struggle with that element. You download the game, play it, and you're just thrown straight into a game, given cards with no idea what to do. So we really want to focus on making sure everyone knows what they're doing before they play, and they're really excited to play the game because they know how it's going to work before they've even played it.
Great.
But yeah, that was a great question. Thank you.
Just to add to that, although obviously I know you want to get the game out, so it might just be kind of a nice to have down the road, whether you could have like a demo version that you can actually, like a computer, do you know what I mean? Like, you know, when you play chess against a computer, but one that's a demo version. So you can just have a bit of a feel for it.
Built into the game. So when you're playing, you can either play against the computer, or you can play against another person. So if you just want to practice, work out what deck works best, try and build your mechanics, you can just play against a computer. Doesn't matter if you win or lose, it's not going to affect your rating. And then when you feel ready, when you're going to play against other people, this is when you're going to be able to earn ratings. And when we're having tournaments, this is where you're going to earn points to move up the ladder, and then you'll be able to win tokens in return. But yeah, there'll be a computer to play against, which is like a demo because you can just play it as much as you want and test out your different decks.
Okay, great. Thanks.
Yeah, thanks for the questions.
Not to be a repeat person, but I was also curious about the minting of cards. When you're talking about like a rare card, obviously, are you just going to have an open period where you mint as many as you want and then close it? Or is there going to be like a limited amount of rare cards, so 500 of this mythic beast of one particular type, or unlimited as long as you get it within the time frame and then they shut it off?
Yeah, that's a great question. So there's a little bit of both. Some of the cards, especially the more basic common cards, there can be as many of these as people mint. And then when we have limited edition cards, rare cards, or seasonal cards, these ones will either be only available to mint during a certain time period. Let's say we've done a seasonal edition of the cards. They would only be able to be minted during that season. Or if there was a card that was like rare, limited edition, has some special abilities, there might only be 15 of that card in circulation, and then once all 15 of those has been minted, it'll be pulled from the mint pool, and the only way to get that would then be through trading on the marketplace. But that was a great question. Thank you. If anyone has anything else, feel free to jump in.
Yes, I have a quick question. Are you guys planning on maybe doing a beta test so that people can sign up and beta test this game with you guys, or what does that look like from a testing standpoint? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you for the question. That is something we've talked about. We will be holding some beta tests, obviously, to a small group at first. It would just be alpha testing. Once we're happy and confident with the alpha testing, we'll be opening it up for people to sign up and become put themselves on the list to become a beta tester. But obviously, as you guys are in the group, you've seen we've been super transparent and upfront with everything. So as we get to those stages, the alpha testing, the beta testing, we'll keep everybody updated. So when beta testing becomes open, you guys will be the first to know. If you want to get signed up to be the first to get your hands on the game, you'll know about it before anyone else.
So how does the play to earn works?
Yeah, I can talk about that a little bit. I think I'll delve more deep into that on an AMA in the future, but I'll just touch on that a little bit now. So there'll be a few different P2E play to earn aspects to the game. So we'll have weekly tournaments where you'll be placed depending on your rating, which you'll earn or lose by playing other players. There'll be a leaderboard. Depending where you place on the leaderboard, you're going to earn tokens in return. We got a few other P2E elements in the pipeline, but we'll delve deeper into them on a future AMA where we're going to discuss how the play to earn mechanics are going to function in the game.
Oh, hi, Jordan. I've got another question. Sorry.
Hi, go ahead.
Very quickly about the rare cards. So at the moment we can mint a basic pack, and then obviously if you can get upgraded to a founders pack, and some of us got airdrop founders pack thanks to those for free. But would any of those that we're minting now come potentially with any rare cards in it, or are rare cards now going to be something that's going to be an exclusive one-off minting at a time to be decided in the future?
Yeah, so the packs that you're minting at the moment, there is rarer cards in them. Like every card in the pool will have a kind of rarity rating, so a drop rate. If you've played other online games, like different items or different cards will have a drop rate. So a rarer card might have a 0.5% drop rate. So that's your chance of minting that card.
Okay, thanks.
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, if anyone has any other questions, now is the time to jump in.
Hey, sorry, I have one quick question. So for your alpha and beta testing, are you how many people are you planning to actually be included as a part of it? And also on top of that, are you just going to use the real token or a fake token for the alpha and beta?
Yeah, so this week on the website, we're going to have a form that people will be able to fill in. You're able to give your email, and so you'll be opting in to be an alpha or beta tester. The alpha testing will be a much smaller group to begin with, and then the beta testing will open up to a much larger audience. So from talking with the dev team, anyone that applies to be a beta tester is going to be granted beta access. And yeah, as you're asking about, is it demo tokens or live tokens? In the alpha and beta, it is going to be demo tokens. And then once we release the full game, this is where people are going to actually start playing with the live tokens that they've got in their wallets. But yeah, that's a good question. Thanks for asking, so I can clarify that.
So do we have
Thank
to
you.
use our tokens as like currency in the game?
Yeah, as I said a little bit before, I'll delve into the P2E and token side of the game a little bit more on a future AMA. But yeah, there is an element of that. So as well as the normal games that you can play that are going to get you on the leaderboard to earn tokens, there's also going to be wager rooms and wager games where you can, depending on your rating, you're going to be matched against someone with a similar rating, and you can wager on that game. So let's say you're matched against someone with a similar rating to you, and you've selected before you've rolled to see who you've matched against. You're going to have selected which room to go in. So you might go in a 1 million token room or a 10 million token room, or whatever the amount is, and that amount of tokens is the amount that you're going to wager on that game. So if you're in a 1 million token room, you're going to have to deposit 1 million tokens, and then if you win, you're going to win the tokens that the other person has deposited. If you lose, your opponent is going to win the token that you've deposited. And obviously, you're going to be matched against someone that is a similar rating to you, because it would suck if you wagered all your tokens and you went against someone that's got a super high rating and got amazing cards and an amazing deck, and they just take all your tokens. So it's going to be as fair as it can be, because you're going to be against a similar rating. And then obviously your deck strategy and how you play in that actual game is going to determine whether you win or lose the tokens on that game.
And I had one more suggestion, or maybe insight down the road. What do you think about having like a mobile app option to where kind of like the Pokemon Go type thing, to where people in the real world could find like an NFT or a rare card or something like that to bring more people into the game that aren't using a web browser?
That is a really interesting idea. We've not discussed having kind of a Pokemon Go element. As far as mobile app goes, that is something that we do want to do in the future, have the game be playable on mobile or iPads. But yeah, having some kind of real world Pokemon Go element would be really cool. That is something that I'll pass on to the development team, and we'll discuss kind of logistics of that, what could be done, and discuss how, if we did do that, how we could make it as good as we want to be. We don't just want to release something that's like, oh, we can do this, so here it is. We'd want to come up with a way that we can implement it in a really exciting and new way, something people would actually want to do. Like, we don't want to release stuff that's just, we know we can do this, here it is. We want to create something new and exciting that people are actually going to love and want to do. But that is a really interesting suggestion. We'll definitely be having discussions about that in the coming week.
And we appreciate you guys. We think you've done a fantastic job, and that's why I'm so heavily invested in this. So keep up the great work.
Oh, that's great to hear. Like, for the whole team, when we started, it was a passion project, something we wanted to do. It's just amazing to see how supportive the whole community has been. This is, of all the token communities that I've been involved in, this has got to be the most positive community I've ever seen. So we're really grateful to you guys for being a great community and supporting us.
Hey there, if I could just pop in and ask a quick question real quick.
Yeah.
So does the team at all think they might develop some type of like story or lore to go along with the like wolf theme of the game? Like, for example, like when you drop your expansion pack of the next set of cards, like chapter 2 of the story or like something along those lines?
Yeah, this is a good question. I don't want to reveal too much actually, but I will say we have been discussing cinematic elements that is going to add more of a story to the game. I don't want to share like details at this point. We kind of want it to
Yeah, absolutely understand. Definitely.
like
That's
no
that's good to
spoilers,
hear,
but
though.
yeah, what you're thinking is the kind of thing we are working towards.
Awesome. That's cool. And thank you for all that you do. Appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on.
Yeah, hello.
Hello.
So I had a quick question. I was just curious. So I imagine, you know, like the decks will evolve as we go, so we'll get more and more cards. But have you guys thought about maybe adding any more elements to it, or anything in the future, like maybe a light or a dark element, or just different elements? And on that note too, I mean, this might be a little too much, but then are certain traits going to be unique to certain elements? You know, like water element will be more likely to be like a healing deck or something, whereas fire element would be more likely to be attack deck. And I guess that's kind of open, but that was just some thoughts I had.
Yeah, so there's kind of two questions in there. I'll go through both of them separately. So I think the first thing you're asking is it about the look of the game board, like the environment that you're playing in?
Or well, no, I was thinking more like if you plan on expanding elements in the future, so like you know you have like the earth, water, fire, air, and then you know like maybe a light or a dark element, you know, kind of like the necromancer or the light thing.
Yeah, I understand you. Yeah, you're talking about the actual element sockets in the game. So yeah, adding other element sockets in the future is definitely something we would want to do. Obviously, we want to have the game out first, nail that. Like we want to get it to the point where we're really happy with it and ready to release it. Then in the future, as we bring more expansion packs in, that is definitely something we would want to do. So we'll be dropping obviously more card packs and seasonal packs, but then later on down the line, there'll be full expansion packs. So if you've played any other like kind of big online TCGs or MMOs, they'll have an expansion pack that is adding a new element to the game, adding something new rather than just adding more things to play with. So down the line, yeah, we would definitely want to be introducing a full expansion pack that's going to add more elements, new beasts, and kind of really changing up the meta. But we would want to do that kind of periodically. Like we're not going to add new elements every month and then the old decks you had become like outdated. This is something we would work on for a while, get it to the point where we are really happy with it, and then release that, and it would be a kind of a big expansion pack release rather than just a new card drop. But yeah, that was a great question. And the other question was,
I was just if like traits are going to be unique to certain elements, you know, like water is more of like a healing and fire is more.
Yeah, that's bang on. So the each element would kind of have a different style of ability that it's got. So yeah, the water elements might be doing things that are more on the healing side. The fire elements would be more geared towards things that are a burn. So as I said before, if it's attacking a card, it might damage the two side cards or damage all the cards on the opponent's board. The earth or the thunder, lightning abilities might do something that attacks all the elements cards or weakens their health. But yeah, what you're saying is right. The different elements are kind of a different style of ability for each kind of class of element. So yeah, you could build a like a rush fire deck, so something that's going to be getting your cards on the board, attacking fast, and because you've built it as a fire deck, it's going to be able to attack multiple cards on the board at once, which is going to put out the most amount of damage. So yeah, you could build your deck around a certain element, which might really help you if you're trying to do one specific tactic. But if someone's got the perfect counter for what you've built for, your deck might not be so strong. So yeah, it's going to be really interesting to see how people develop different metas and different strategies, and then how people counter them. But yeah, what you were saying was bang on.
Yeah, no, and that's awesome because I'm really into the strategy is what attracts me a lot, and I used to play Magic the Gathering a lot. So, but no, I'm really stoked, and I think you guys are doing an awesome job, and you know, we love it, we appreciate it. So thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your questions.
Hello. Is this gonna be like Axie Infinity game?
How do you mean? Could you expand on that question just a little bit more for me?
Is this P2E game gonna be a similar in Axie Infinity game?
So it's a trading card game. I don't know if you were around earlier in the AMA, but we did go like fully through the game mechanics and exactly how the game is going to work.
Okay,
So
thank you.
I would say the game is most similar to something like Pokemon, Hearthstone, Magic the Gathering, where you've got cards in your hand, playing them on the board against an opponent, like a tabletop TCG game, but online.
Just a quick question. Have you planned to make this game affordable for everyone? Because obviously the packs are pretty expensive for many of our investors.
Yeah, this is a good question, and we will have elements in the game that we've been discussing this week where you'll be able to earn cards or earn something that's going to be able to generate you a card. So let's say you need 30 cards to play. If you've only got 20 cards, there's going to be things in the game you can do to earn more cards to play with. And obviously we have our token staking live at the moment as well. So if you've staked 20 trillion tokens or more, you're going to be earning card packs each week, which is going to build up the amount of cards you have.
Hey there, this is Rick. I got a question for you. First of all, thanks for the transparency. My question is, do you guys have any plans, upcoming plans that could implement the game into like the metaverse, or do you guys have any plans to like develop a presence in the metaverse or any metaverse that's upcoming right now?
Yeah, this is something the team has been discussing this week. We were thinking it would be really cool, and obviously this is all alpha at the moment. Everything is subject to change, but we would really like something where the marketplace, so where you're buying, selling, and trading cards, if this was built in the metaverse, and then there was kind of taverns where you could go and actually play the games in the metaverse, this would be something we would really like to do in the future. Obviously, at this stage, we want to just develop the game and get the game as good as we can right now, and then we can look into like bigger parts of the project like that. But yeah, that kind of thing is 100% the kind of direction we want to take the game as we progress through the roadmap.
Yeah, or even like just developing like a presence, like where people that don't know about the game are like in the metaverse, and you know, maybe they find your building or they find the company through the metaverse, and then they're able to see like the NFTs. I don't know if you've been on like Decentraland or anything like that, but you can actually like post up your NFTs like a gallery, and maybe the cards could be posted up, and that could take them to the marketplace or take them to back to the website so that they can find out more about the game.
Yeah, I've been on there. I've been on there. That would be really cool, having a gallery of cards, kind of like a real life card shop, a bit like Forbidden Planet. If there's anyone from the UK in the chat, but yeah, that would be really cool, where you could go in, look at the cards, browse them, and then go to the marketplace and buy them, as well as like a gallery for the NFT avatars that I touched on earlier.
Yeah, exactly.
Really cool.
Cool, appreciate it.
Hello.
Hey,
Is
any
any
quick
burn
question
mechanics going to be added to the game?
Say that again. We've got two people talking at
Oh,
once.
sorry. Is there any burn mechanics going to be added to the game?
What do you mean by burn mechanics? We've got a few different things that could be referring to. So yeah, just clarify what you mean by.
So like the wages. Say we could have two separate wager rooms. The second one being where the two players can sacrifice, say, 10 or 20% of their wager to burn the tokens?
Yeah, this is so with the kind of wagering mechanics. This is something the team is still discussing and nailing down exactly how the tokenomics of that is going to work, because obviously we want it to benefit everyone. But yeah, that is something the team has and is discussing, tokens being burnt through the P2E elements.
That's great. Thank you.
Hey, so thanks. Just have a quick question. First of all, I just want to say, you guys have been very transparent from the beginning. It's very refreshing to see, a new crypto project that's so active with the community. So thank you for that. My question is a little bit more on the business / gaming side of things. As the company and the coin gains more momentum, do you guys have any plans on expanding into other business segments within the gaming or metaverse community, or is this strictly going to be an NFT / game company, card game company moving forward? Thank you.
So yeah, when the when the idea was created by myself and the team, we really wanted to focus on the like NFT token TCG aspect of the game. Obviously, the whole team has a like token and NFT background, so this is something we wanted to bring to the TCG space. So yeah, we'd want to be moving forward with that and kind of have it as our USP. Like, this is something no other card game is doing, and we want to do it better than any other card game could. So that's what we're going to focus on and keep pushing forwards with.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, just a quick question. Thank you for all the information today, by the way. But so you said about 30 cards in order to play the game. What would you say realistically would be in order to be competitive? How many cards?
It honestly, it completely depends on what cards you've got. So obviously, once the marketplace is open, you can buy, sell, and trade cards that you've already got. If you want to build one deck is going to need 30 cards to be a full deck. So you could have only 30 cards, but they're the only 30 cards you ever want to play with, and you could be competitive with that. But then obviously you're going to want to build other decks with other strategies, other mechanics. So if you want to build multiple decks, obviously cards can be in more than one deck. So you can build different strategies using, say, if you had 50 cards, you could build a bunch of different decks using them. But yeah, if you want to build more decks that have more complex mechanics, you are going to want to have more cards, because as we're launching, there's going to be 150 unique cards. So obviously you're going to want as many of those as you can to be able to utilize the different strategies and different mechanics as best as possible.
That's fair enough. Thank you.
Hi, Jordan. It's Nav again. So I was
Hi.
just thinking, with this staking platform, is there kind of there's no end date, I guess? So you just continue to, as long as you stake your tokens, you continue to get a
Yeah,
free pack every week. Is that right? Because that, in a way, that could become like passive income to someone if they don't ever play the game.
100%. The staking is ongoing. So let's say if you staked all of your tokens now and just kept them in there, you're going to be earning a card pack each week. And then once the marketplace is open and the cards are live, you could sell those each week. And obviously you've got a chance of getting a rare card. So if you get a rare card from the pack you've earned through staking, you could be getting a really good passive income just through holding your tokens in the staking platform.
Yeah, because I mean, I need to buy more tokens to get up to the staking platform amount. But it just occurred to me that actually maybe that's a selling point that you guys probably should put out there a little bit about staking. Yeah, this could be a passive income from some people.
Yeah, I'll speak to the marketing team to try and push that across a little bit more. That's
yeah, because everywhere in crypto at the moment is about passive income, isn't it? So
yeah, as well as getting cards to play with, you can be earning cards to resell and get a passive income through staking. But yeah, that was a really good point. Thank you.
no problem. Thanks, and thanks to the team for
All right,
everything.
question.
Like,
Thank you for all
I
the
just wanted
presentation that you've done so far. Are there any plans for a physical release? So folks who are not really into crypto NFTs and stuff like that, they would see, oh, this board game, is on Amazon or maybe Barnes and Nobles or whichever card game shop that they go to as an entry point to say, okay, well, we love this game. We can make money playing it online with other players. So you may try to get into NFTs and crypto. Are there plans for that?
Yeah, that's a really cool idea, and that is something that team has discussed already. Obviously, right now we're in kind of our alpha phase 1 of the roadmap, so all our focus has been going on to like the digital side of developments. Once we've got that to a point where we're happy and it's released and we're further down the roadmap, then potentially we would look into some kind of physical aspects of the game, because it would be really cool if you had a physical version of something you were really passionate about. But yeah, right now we just want to focus on the token, NFT, and kind of digital game side of things, get that as good as we can, and build something that you guys love. Although like the physical version of the game would be really cool, and I know I would enjoy playing it, you can do a lot more in like digital TCGs. Having played both physical and digital ones, the digital ones have a lot more kind of elements that it automates for you. So things like if it's attacking a card and it attacks 2 other cards and reduces their health, having that like done on the screen for you is a much smoother and nicer way of doing it than in person on the board, having to work out how many health you're removing from 3 different cards. But yeah, definitely in the future, as we progress down the roadmap, that is something that the team will discuss more in depth. And if we feel like it would be beneficial to the community to do that, we would do it. We wouldn't just want to get the cards printed and sell them because, hey, we know people are going to buy them, but it's going to be pointless and won't be enjoyable. If we felt like we could release something that would be like beneficial to our audience and something people would actually want to either own to collect or own to play with, then it's something we would talk about more. But we don't want to rush into that right now and just give you guys something that you don't even want.
Understood. Or even like card packs to, like for example, how they have the Yu-Gi-Oh cards, just rare cards to drive more customers from other places as well. But yeah, thank you for that explanation. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, thanks for jumping on. That was a great question.
I got a question here.
Yep, shoot.
Is there going to be a game log that after the match is over we can look at? Because there might be times where we might lose the game and not know why. Other players might be using third-party software. So a game log would really help us out, especially now that you've revealed that we can wager tokens. So I would hate to lose a lot of tokens and not know why I've lost the game. Thank you.
Yeah, once you've played the game, you'll be able to go back into the main app, and there'll be different sections on there where you can review past games, see what happened, and yeah, there would be a log of exactly what happened in the game, if you're wondering why or how something happened, or if you wanted to review your own strategy or your opponent's strategy and try and learn and get better at the game. But yeah, you'll be able to track and see what has happened in your past games if you want to. I know that kind of thing, when I've played online TCGs before, that has been something really useful to me in terms of learning what is going on in the game, how my strategy could have been better, and what I could have done at certain points in the game to maybe push the game in different directions and win if I've lost. Like, if you've lost, there's always something you could have done earlier in the game that would have pivoted it towards the direction of you winning.
Hello, I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Considering that there's going to be a lot of cards minted before the official release date of the game, will there be any like scholarships?
What do you mean by scholarships?
Like instead of you having to play the game, like you can hire someone else to play it on your behalf, like having 2 or 3 people playing on their like on the same account, or you know what I mean, like similar to Axie Infinity.
Yeah, but like
yeah, we've not discussed this as a team, but I do like the idea. This is something I'll have to pass on to the team, and we'll discuss this in more depth this week. But yeah, that is an interesting suggestion. We'll discuss that, and if we do decide to push forward with that, we'll keep everyone updated and let you know exactly how it's going to work.
Any major marketing plans for the game that's going to be like a lot more bigger than what we're currently doing? Just out of curiosity.
Yeah, obviously, as the game comes closer to release and releases, we'll be pushing out a big marketing campaign that is focusing on the game releasing and becoming live, rather than just promoting the token and promoting the card packs. But this is something that I will that the team will be discussing as we come closer to releasing the game. But as the game gets into kind of alpha and beta testing sections of the roadmap, we'll be onboarding Twitch and YouTube TCG gamers that are going to be promoting the game on their platform. So yeah, as we get closer to game release and upon game release, there will be a big marketing campaign involving TCG influence that is going to help kind of promote the game to a new audience.
And then just a quick follow-up to that, what's a rough timeline in terms of the release, or like when do you guys think you might be ready for release?
Yeah, so this is something that we've been discussing in-house. For a rough timeline, we're looking at the first quarter of 2022. But yeah, I will speak to the development team and we can try and get a more dialed in date of when that will be.
Thank you.
Hello.
Hi.
Hey, so following off about advertising to new groups. So will the game be free to play? Because I know a lot of people that are playing online card games, frankly, don't have a couple $1,000s to drop on card packs.
Yeah, we have discussed this as a team, and we are still working on that aspect of it, because it would be really good kind of promotion and advertisement to have a version of the game where you could play it without having any cards. So a slimmed down version of the game, something where you could hop on and learn how to play it with a kind of a deck that is given to you, is something we would really like to do. So people without cards could play it, learn how the game works, and then enjoy playing it and look into buying their own cards so they could build a better deck, use strategies that they've seen but maybe not had the cards to have. But yeah, that is definitely something the team would want to roll out.
Okay, and then one more question about the packs that we're minting right now. Are they eventually going to be not mintable any longer, so they will increase in value as a way to kind of reward earlier holders?
Yeah, so right now it's kind of the initial founders pack stage. As we get closer to game release and once those cards have been released, there'll be different packs on the store. So the packs that are minted right now won't be available to mint anymore. That doesn't mean all of the cards in this kind of first edition will be exclusive to the first edition, but there will be definitely cards in there that you could only have by minting in this initial stage right now.
All right, cool. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the questions.
Hi, I have two questions again. So forgive me if this was answered already, but I know we're going to have skill-based matchmaking regarding, folks who are like really super level, have like 1 billion cards, and it could destroy every new player.
Yeah.
Is there going to be a casual level where anyone who is, like for example, level 0, have nothing, could play against a level 100 with no ramifications?
Yeah, so you could play a random game in the kind of non-P2E section. So you could play a game where nothing is at stake against any random player, and you can choose whether you want to be matched against someone of a similar rating to you or just random. So yeah, you could play, if you wanted, you could play a game against anybody and not have anything at stake. So it would just be a game to play for fun.
Okay, thank you. And the other question is, I know I play like a lot of Warzone and Rainbow Six Siege, and there are some free weekends where they encourage, new users just to come to try out the game for like a Saturday and Sunday just to play it out. Are there any plans for this, or maybe mechanics of how to get this done?
Yeah, yeah, we definitely want to do stuff like that where there's kind of holidays or short periods of time where we're running certain promotions where you might be able to play with a certain deck that we've created for this promotion, and for that you might earn something back. So if you play using this deck that we're allowing you to play with, and you win with that deck, you might get certain cards or certain decks in return for doing so.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah, thank you for your questions.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello.
Hello.
Yeah, I can hear you.
Yes, I had a couple questions.
Yeah, go ahead.
My bad.
What's the average? What do you think is the average game time per battle is going to be?
Yeah, so with a kind of deck size of 30 cards, we're imagining each game to run for about 20 minutes. And obviously this is something that is going to need to be tweaked by the development team as we're working out the kind of stats of the cards. We don't want games to run on for an hour. We don't want them to last like less than 5 minutes. So we want to balance the game in a way where each game is going to take around 20 minutes. And with that, in regards to card balancing, we're going to have a DAO where the community is going to be able to vote for kind of the balancing changes that they want. So if there's a certain aspect of the game that is overpowered or underpowered, we want everybody to be able to have their voice heard, and then through the DAO, the whole community will be able to make a decision as to how the balancing is going to work and how the game should work moving forwards. But yeah, to answer your original question, yeah, each game should take around 20 minutes. Obviously, someone might have some crazy rush deck and they beat you in under 10 minutes. Or the game, if it's like really evenly matched, might go on a little bit longer than 20 minutes. But obviously, once you run out of your 30 cards and you're trying to draw a card from a pile that's not there, your hero is going to start taking damage. So it's going to kind of limit the game so it can't go on for hours and hours. It's going to be roughly around 20 minutes per game.
The other thing I wanted to maybe comment is, let's say like you're getting your butt kicked and you don't want to lose your wager. Like, how are you guys planning on dealing? Like, let's say you disconnect or some sort of like penalty for like withdrawing, or let's say your internet went down, you power outage,
yeah,
like those type of.
Let's say you disconnect mid-game, you'll be able to load back in, and because you're connected through your wallet, you'll be able to rejoin the game that you're in. In regards to pulling out, if you're getting like wrecked by the opposite person, this is kind of the risk of wagering. Like you shouldn't really be wagering more tokens than you would be happy to lose. But it's kind of the trade-off. Like you want to risk enough that you're going to be happy to win that amount, but you don't want to lose that amount either. On the wagering side of the game, so if you're choosing to play in the wagering rooms, you will be matched against someone of a similar rating level to you. So it's not like you could sit in there all day with the best cards and wreck everyone and just take everyone's tokens. You're going to be matched against someone who's got a rating similar to you, so you know whoever you're going up against is going to be of a fair level, so you each have a fair chance of winning, and it's really going to come down to who has the better strategy and who's built a better deck, or whose deck is better at countering the opponent's deck. So yeah, it's going to be winning or losing the tokens is going to be fully on you having a good strategy and having a good skill level while playing the game.
So the moral of the story is never pull out.
It's up to you. I'll leave that one to you.
Question, on a serious note, will there be, for example, the more that you play, I'm guessing you're gonna have like a dozen of the same cards. Is there some form of mechanics to gift cards to new players? If you play with someone, you say, oh yeah, I like your spirit or whatever it is, I like your attitude playing. Here, take this card. Is there something like that being designed?
Oh, if you wanted to like tip someone after a game.
Yeah.
That is a really good suggestion. We haven't spoke about that as a team. Obviously, the cards are NFTs, so you can send cards to people if you wish. But yeah, having that built into the game where you could offer someone a card after a game, that would be a really cool mechanic. So I'll pass that on to the team, and that'll be discussed this week. But yeah, that's a great suggestion. Thank you.
Thank you.
Hello. I have a quick question about the staking and the founders editions. So if you have over the 25 trillion to unlock the founders edition,
yeah,
and you decide to stake the 20 to get your free packs, does that lock up, like, does that disable you from getting the founders after you stake the 20 of them?
No, if you've any cards that you've minted and you are you're eligible for the founders pack airdrops, you will receive them. So even if you've staked your tokens after you've minted, any founders packs that you are entitled to, you will be airdropped.
Okay, so once you stake any that you mint after you stake, you won't be eligible anymore.
Yeah, so after you've staked, those tokens aren't in your wallet anymore, so you wouldn't be eligible for the founders packs. But yeah, you're correct.
Thank you.
Well, hi there. I got a couple questions for you, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
What is the main goal of this crypto? Because I'm heavily invested in it, so I kind of wanna know if this currency will be burned.
Yeah, so before the project was created, our main goal was to create an NFT TCG game that we were really happy with, and something that people would want to play, and something new in the space that hasn't been done before. So everything we've done up to this point and going forward is working towards that. So we want to create the best TCG possible that we can think of, and deliver that to the community, give them something that they're going to love to collect the cards, love to play, and be like really happy that they've really happy with what we've created. So that was the main goal. We want to create a TCG game, an NFT TCG game that we're really proud of, and yeah, that has been kind of the driving force from the start.
Okay, because you are doing a really good job, and I really appreciate the effort. And
Yeah,
how
thank you.
about like is this currency will be burned, and it will be included in Binance, I guess?
Are you asking if there's going to be more token burns?
Yeah.
Yeah, we do token burns, and we're always transparent, and we let the community know when we're going to do the token burns. So yeah, for more information about them going forwards, just stay in the chat. We always tell everyone what's going on.
All right. And is this token will be included in Binance?
This is something we would look to be doing in the future. Obviously, we don't have any information about that right now as we just launched, but yeah, further down in the roadmap, we will look to be getting on more exchanges. We are on 2 exchanges already. Another exchange listed us today without us asking, which was pretty amazing.
Okay, that seems great, and thank you so much for your time. And I really appreciate the effort. I'm heavily invested, by the way.
Yeah, thanks for the questions, and thanks for jumping on.
Of course.
Hello, I have a question here. First of all, thank you for all the great work that you're doing, guys. It is really amazing.
Oh, thank you.
It's two questions, 2 parts of the question. First, I don't know if there's going to be interaction between players. For example, is there going to be a chat in the game, or is there going to be any type of communication between the players? And with that, I don't if that is going to be possible. Is there going to be for example, regarding good players, or giving for example, penalties to harassing players or something like that?
Yeah, this is a good question. It's something we've not actually touched on yet, but yeah, there will be ways to interact with the the opponent, there isn't going to be a chat function because this opens up a whole new world of something to be abused, and you would need a big team of moderators to be moderating every single chat that's going on. But there will be kind of emotions that you can send to the other player, or short phrases. So you could send, you could click your avatar and then click on an emotion, like an emoji of a wolf, to send to them. So if they've just dealt loads of damage to you, you might send some kind of crying wolf emoji to them through the system. Or there'll be like a short list of different phrases you could send, saying like "well done" or "that hurt" or whatever. Obviously, the actual phrases will be released later down the line. And the other part of the question, the tipping, we did touch on that a little bit earlier. That is something we would really want to implement down the line. So after a game, you might want to tip one a certain amount of tokens, or give them a rating like a thumbs up or a thumbs down. This is definitely something we would looking towards implementing into the game down the roadmap.
Okay, and last question, it is regarding security for the game. I don't know if you're thinking about taking action, or do you have something in mind to implement for example, preventing bots or for playing the game, or hackers, or anything else that might actually influence the outcome of a match?
Yeah, so there's a few different like aspects to security. So because the cards are on the blockchain, there's not really like a great deal of things a hacker could do to like hack the cards and make it so they've got the best hand and they're going to win everything. Like there would be no like backdoor or anything a hacker could do. Like the cards, you choose the cards in your deck, and then the cards that are drawn would be random, and that would be handled on the game server side. It wouldn't be handled on your own. So it's not something that somebody could interact with to kind of cheat the game. And as far as like playing the game is the best way of winning is by having the best strategy. So even if, like, I can't imagine someone would, but if someone built a bot to play a certain card, that's not going to really be a good way of playing the game. Obviously, we'll have built-in anti-bot measures that will detect if someone is trying to use a bot, or detect if something fishy is going on. But let's say someone is doing that, that isn't really going to help them win the game. It's just going to help them lose, to be honest, because they're not going to be, the bot isn't going to be using a strategy. It's not going to be thinking like a human, reacting to different cards played or making the best decisions. So yeah, it's something we thought about a lot, and we're going to have everything. We're going to have things built into the game to prevent that kind of activity, but that kind of activity isn't going to be useful to someone anyway. And because of the nature of the blockchain, people can't really cheat and just have the best cards.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your questions.
Cool, Chad here. I got a question for you. So basically, I understand that the chat, there's not going to be a chat function, but are we going to be able to pick, like, let's say we have a friend that we want to play a battle with, whether it's friendly or, yeah, whether it's friendly or for a wager, are we going to be able to have that function?
Yeah, 100%. So if you've got, there'll be different types of games. Obviously, we'll delve into the different game types more in another AMA. But yeah, you could have a private game rather than a public game in the wager lobbies, but you could set up a private game with a friend who you've added on there through their wallet address, and then you can set up a private game, have it as no wagers. If you want to have wagers with your friend, that's fine. And yeah, if you're playing with a friend, someone you've added on there, you would be able to chat to them in a more direct way, yeah. But that would only be able to be done with a friend, someone who's accepted a friend request, sent you a friend request. But yeah, you would definitely be able to interact with them in a more comprehensive way than a random person in a public lobby.
Okay, cool. Thank that.
Yeah, thanks. That was a great question. Thank you.
Hey, thanks again for taking the time. will you be able to wager not only tokens but maybe cards of similar or equivalent value or rarity?
Yeah, that is a great point and suggestion, and this is something I'll pass on to the team, and we will discuss in the coming weeks. But yeah, as well as the wagering a token amount, yeah, we would like to have it so you could wager a certain card or a certain card rarity. So instead of entering a 1 million token wager room, you could enter a wager room where you're going to put a card of a certain rarity on the line. But yeah, that's a great suggestion, something we definitely want to implement and roll out into the game.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the question. That was great.
I have a question.
Yeah, go for it.
Would there be any like buffs and debuffs on each cards like in the next season?
So you're asking about rebalancing, like the stats of the cards?
Yes.
Yeah, we discussed that a little bit earlier. So we will implement a DAO into our ecosystem where community members with tokens will be able to kind of make decisions about rebalancing of the game. So if there is a certain card that is under or overpowered, as a community, everyone will be able to kind of make that decision together. If something is too powerful, we can rein it in a bit. If something needs a buff, then we could work on that. And with that, if there's a certain strategy, let's say everyone is winning with a rush fire deck, or everyone is only using a rush fire deck, we would try and rebalance the other elements and strategies for a more diversified gameplay. But yeah, that would be decided through the DAO. So it would be a real community effort to try and push that forward and get the game having a more balanced meta.
Will there be 2v2 features and are decks capped at 30?
How do you mean? Sorry, could you just unpack the question a bit more?
Oh, like if there's like 2v2, so like 2 players versus another 2 players, and then our decks capped at 30 cards?
I see what you mean. So on launch, having 2v2 or more than 1v1 isn't something that we're going to be implementing at launch, but yeah, definitely down the line, we would want to add more game styles, more ways that you can play the game. So yeah, having 2v2 or having something that's like 8v8. So it's not 8 people versus 8 people. It's more like 1v8. So there's 8 players in the lobby, and
like
you play
Battlegrounds?
against a different person each turn. But yeah, that is something we have discussed. And down the line, once the game is out and we're really happy with where it's at, then we would get implementing more game styles like that. But yeah, that's a great question. We want the cards to be able to use in different ways. So yeah, we would definitely build different mechanics or different game types, which will allow other decks to be built and other style of play. But yeah, what you said is bang on. Further down the roadmap, we would have different play styles.
Hi, Jordan.
Hi.
Hi. I'm not sure if you have thought about this. I used to play, probably you played as well. I used to play Magic the Gathering for maybe 10 years ago.
Yeah.
The physical card with the cards. And when I saw this game and I just read the mechanics, and it looks like in many ways the same, which is very cool. So my question is, I've been playing a few games like this one, and my question is, have you thought about, and your development team as well, in terms of the possibility in the future on your roadmap to include like guilds or clan wars where some players could join together? Let's say a few players like to play with the deck, basically with Thunder and Earth. And so those players would join on a guild or on a clan and would start wars against other clans that would use either the same or different kind of abilities. I'm not sure if that is something that you thought about it. That would be very cool.
Yeah, that is something we have discussed. So you could create a guild or a clan and then join that with your friends, or if there was a team that had kind of been put together, you might join that, or you might apply to join that, or earn your place in that through different means. And then if you were in that clan, in games, people will be able to see which clan you belong to. But yeah, that is definitely something the team want to do, and it'll be something that will be kind of introduced into the game as we progress further down the roadmap. But yeah, that kind of thing is exactly what is going to be coming to the game in the future.
Amazing, thank you.
Hi.
Hi.
I have a question. Yesterday, I was checking the price on Poo coins showing 40 or 50, 12 or something like that. But actually, price was like 890. But why prices are different for our crypto different places?
I'm not 100% sure what you're referring to. The token is an ERC20 token, so it can't be displayed on PooCoin. The best place to see the token price is on Dex Tools, and you can find those links in the chat or type chart, and Rose will link you directly to it. I don't know where you were looking, but yeah.
I thought I saw it there. Are you able to, what you said right now, can you put those information as a text in the group if somebody want to check, because it become a big question for me. You said where we have to check the price?
Yeah, people are doing it in the chat right now. If you just type chart, Rose will link you the chart straight away. I can see a bunch of people doing it right now.
Okay, that's awesome. Thank you. You answered my question. Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the question. I'll have to clear that up.
Hi, Jordan.
Hi.
Jordan, will this game will be available on both on Android and iOS?
Yeah, so we have covered that a little bit earlier. I'll just touch on it again. So for the initial release, it will be a browser-based desktop game. But yeah, in the future, we would look at rolling out a mobile version of the game that would be played through a wallet browser, so maybe the MetaMask browser. And then further down the line, we would look at developing a mobile and tablet-based version of the game that you could add your wallet to. But yeah, to answer the question, initially it's going to be a browser-based game that you connect your wallet to, and then in the future we will release the game on more platforms.
Great. And what about the burn mechanism for this token?
Yeah, we have been doing token burns. They're always announced in the chat, and they are in the pinned comments. And for token burns in the future, we will always announce that and let people know what's going on.
And you guys are going to make a bridge also on other chains, or you will stay on Ethereum?
Yeah, the team has discussed this. Right now, we're going to stay with Ethereum and progress down our roadmap, get the game developed, and push that live. But yeah, moving on to other chains is definitely something we want to do in the future. And yeah, like I said, as we have those plans, it will be announced to the community, so everyone will know what's going on. Like the best thing to do if you want those updates is be in the Telegram. We always announce things and pin them in there, and follow us on Twitter. Any announcements are always shared on there and pinned on the Twitter.
Thank you.
Yeah, thanks for your questions. Right, I'll just take a few more questions and we'll wrap this AMA up. But it's been great sharing the game mechanics with you all and answering your questions.
Hello.
Hi.
Hello, sir. Good morning from Philippines.
Good morning. Happy to have you here.
I'm asking for there is a chance for Bank and Hotbit listing.
Did you say Hotbit listing?
Yes, and also Bank.
Yeah, we are working on more exchange listings at the moment. We don't want to share any details right now, but yeah, this is something we're working on. And yeah, just stay in the group. You'll see all the announcements as we post them.
Okay, sir. Can I ask one favor?
You can go for it. What is it?
It's been a week. I'm mute in chat. Can you unmute my chat? In the group.
Yeah, I'll get
I'm
one of the
still mute.
mods. I'll get one of the mods to do that for you. I'm sure some mods are listening. They're probably going to do that for you right now.
Okay, thank you.
Hey, I got a question.
Yeah, go for it.
What was the discussion about having the monsters? How did you guys come with the decision of having the monsters randomly attack each other so they won't be attacking the one in front of them? Is that correct?
Yeah, that's correct. So your beasts will attack left to right on your board. So your leftmost card will attack first, and the card that it attacks will be random unless there is a tank card. And the team had a lot of discussions about the best way to do this. Like, are the cards going to attack the card opposite it? Are you going to choose which card is going to attack which card? And as a team, we felt having it go left to right and then a random card, kind of the auto chess version of a TCG game, we felt that would create the best experience for the players. That's going to allow people to develop really like in-depth strategies that that are going to be. It's going to be really important that you've built a strong deck with a good strategy, and then play those cards kind of in a certain order to enable a certain strategy. But it also allows a certain randomness to the game. Obviously, you've chosen what cards you want to play. You might have the perfect deck on the board, but it needs to attack a certain thing. Now, if that doesn't happen, obviously your turn might not go as good as you want it, or it might attack the perfect card and you just pulled it out of the bag and won a hand that you didn't expect to win. And I've played a lot of other online TCGs, and some of them have that game element. And when it works, when it attacks the thing you wanted it to attack, it is it's one of the most exciting things. And especially for people, if they're in the game, if they pull off something amazing and it attacks the right card, it's just the best thing to see. So that's why we made that decision. Further down the line, as we introduce other play styles, like other game types, we would want to introduce different ways of the cards attacking. So you choose which it attacks, and the opponent's going to choose who they want to attack too. But yeah, for now, we're going to go for the auto chess attacking mechanism, just because we feel that's going to help develop the most interesting strategies, and that's what we've all enjoyed playing the most online.
Hi, Jordan, it's Nav. I just want to say, like, I'm super impressed by the team. And I actually bought into Shiryo just based on how great everything looked on the graphics. Not because I don't know anything about trading card games, other than I know there'll be, a lot of people playing. But yeah, thanks. Like, everything you're doing is super slick and super cool. So,
Oh, thank you. That's great feedback, and I'm sure the
and
design
when I
team.
pay my mortgage off, I'm going to come buy you a drink because I'm in London too.
That'd be great.
And I just want to say to the community, love you all. Like, MJ, I can't believe you have the cojones to ask the CEO to unmute you in chat. Most of us would ask a mod. That was just too funny. So thank you for that. Like, you guys are a bunch of love. And sometimes it just makes everybody's days, especially in these times when most people can be in lockdown wherever you are. So.
Oh, thanks for the great feedback. We really appreciate that. Kind of having really good community engagement and management is something we kind of really want to focus on and make sure that we are like leading the forefront in. We want people to feel that they can communicate with us, and if they've got a question, it's going to get answered, or if they've got an issue, like someone's going to help them. So yeah, it's great to hear the positive feedback.
Jordan.
Yo.
Hey, I'm going to tell you right now, after this AMA, I'm all in. You got me. I'll put it all in.
That's great to hear.
The whole portfolio is in, my man.
That's
I'm
awesome.
in.
I'm sure you're going to have a lot of support in the chat.
Just like you said, and like Nap said, you're going to pay my shit off. You're brilliant. I love it. Keep it up.
Thanks for the great feedback. Yeah, it's always great to hear.
John, may I ask also some questions?
Yeah, let's go for it.
Where do you see the price in 2 years? Where you see the company in 2-3 years? What you want to achieve? Want to be the next Shiba or whatever?
It's quite a big and open question. Obviously, we want, as we progress, we want the price of the coin to be higher so it benefits all of our loyal holders. It would be really difficult to make a kind of guesstimation on what the price would be. But as you know from being in the chat, the team is doing everything it can to make this whole project a success. So if that's anything to go by, I would say it's looking quite positive. As far as the game in like a year, 2 years, obviously we'd have the game released, have different versions of the game out, have different play styles, more packs, expansion packs. I have touched on a lot of this earlier in the chat, but yeah, 1 to 2 years down the line, the game and whole ecosystem should be looking quite expansive and exciting.
Okay, and one last thing, some people already asked me if you can show one time your face on camera because they don't think you are the true guy. So if you can do this one time, it would help a lot suspicious to clear this.
I just tried to do that. I think I need to enable my webcam. Let me do that.
Yeah,
I'll do
whenever you have time. Yeah. Thanks a lot. I appreciate it.
There we go. Right, I don't want to see too many memes in the chat, but yeah, there you go, guys.
Perfect. Thanks a lot.
Thanks. It was a great question. I was wondering how long it would be before somebody asked.
Oh, dude, you really put your camera on. I was in the chat, following the chat because we were just pissing ourselves laughing, but you really did it. Good on ya.
When is the OnlyFans?
Jordan, can we buy cards through these tokens, or we need only Ethereum?
So right now the card minting is just with Ethereum. In the future, we would definitely have other packs and other expansions that would be able to be purchased with the tokens. But yeah, right now, as you said, the card minting is just through Ethereum.
Man, what we will do with this big supply, even we don't have a lot of burn. Ethereum is too expensive now.
But yeah, we touched on earlier, there will be, as we progress, like through the roadmap, there will be other ways of earning cards if you've not got any packs. And obviously we have our token staking live now, so you can stake your tokens and earn card packs back every week. Yeah, I'll take one more question and then we'll wrap this up. But it's been great.
Hello.
Hi.
Hi, I just want to say phenomenal job to everybody that's working on this project. And I was wondering, is everything on the cards and the animations, are they all gonna be wolves, or is like dragons and like bears and other stuff like that, or is it all like wolf based right now?
Yeah, so the whole kind of theme and branding of this whole project is around wolves. So we're gonna stick with that theme. But yeah, as we kind of release more details and we get some kind of cinematics out there, there will be more kind of explanation and story explained about the wolves.
Awesome, thank you.
Yeah, thanks for the question. Right, we'll wrap this AMA up here, but we will do more in the future. We'll probably hold another one next week. But a big thanks to everyone that's listened this whole time, listened through the presentation at the start and asked questions. All the questions are great, and the community is great as always. I'm looking at the chat. You guys are like, you guys are funny. But yeah, thanks, and I'll see you on the next AMA.